Hey, this is Geoff from Thursday, and you're watching Breaking the Mold on TVM.
Thank you, Mike. It's Christian here on the bus of Thursday, and it is during spring break, and I'm sitting here with Mr. Geoff Rickly of the band Thursday.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well.
All right, so let's set the stage right now. Currently, you're on the Rockstar Taste of Chaos tour with Bring Me the Horizon, 4 Year Strong, Pierce the Veil, and the Cancer Bats. How's it been going so far?
It's been going well. It's a lot of bands. Every night there's 5 bands on before us because there's also a local on every show that wins some contest. So it's a lot of bands, but it's been a lot of fun so far.
All right, very nice. So now, Common Existence just was released and stuff like that. It's one of my favorite Thursday albums.
Oh, thank you very much.
How does it compare, like, do you feel to the rest of the albums? Because it sounds like right where City by the Light Divided left off, but where do you think that it came from?
Well, I think that it kept going in the direction of City as far as like trying to experiment and having some different sounds and some different songwriting formats. But I think also we just sort of naturally gravitated back to sort of faster songs, a little more energetic songs. So in some ways for me, it's kind of like it's got a bit of like War All the Time mixed in. It's like City and War All the Time kind of mixed together in a way for me.
All right, well, I mean, Resuscitation for a Dead Man with Tim from Rise Against is obviously like a very energetic song, great way to kick it off, but like I think the one about the Armed Forces is actually my favorite.
Friends in the Armed Forces, yeah.
Friends in the Armed Forces. Now, are those like 2 of the songs that you guys like really like to play live that get you amped up?
Yeah, we'll be playing both of them tonight. I love both of those songs live. I really like Beyond the Visible Spectrum, which is right after Friends in the Armed Forces, and yeah. It's a fun record to play. So we're actually, every night we've been switching off and playing different new songs because we all like different ones on the record.
All right, very nice. So this is your first New Jersey show in a while now, as we talked about before the interview. You said it's sort of a tease because you're going to have to go back out and do more touring. But I mean, what's it feel like to come home and play a show basically in your backyard?
It's nice. It'll be a great show. It's always good to see like the hometown crowd. You know what I mean? Like they're dedicated in a way that I mean, they grew up with us. You know what I mean? I feel like if you're a kid that grows up in New Jersey, like Thursday's a part of your life when you're coming up, and that's a great feeling. You know what I mean? I love to be a part of this area's history. I love this state.
All right. So anybody that doesn't know your humble beginnings, you guys started out as a basement band in the basements of New Brunswick. Can you just, for me, and for all the crew here on Breaking the Mold, we've never had the opportunity, the college is out in Pennsylvania, even though I'm from Jersey, and we really weren't old enough to get that experience. Can you, like, kind of briefly describe what a basement show is and what it meant to you?
Well, around the time that I started doing basement shows, there was another basement that was run by the guys in the Bouncing Souls and Lifetime that had stopped doing shows, and so we kind of took over this tradition, which was like soundproof your basement. Like I had a house with a bunch of punk kids, and I mean, at the time we were all hardcore kids. We hated the idea of punk, like no punk, but which is kind of funny just to think like 10 years later it doesn't, nobody cares either way. But and so we would soundproof everything, and then like go to Kinko's and get one of those cards so that you could make a ton of flyers, and we'd go to the other shows in the area and we'd pass out these flyers, and most of the shows were just donations, and I'd just call out like all these bands that I love and tell them if they needed a stop between New York and Philly, they should come play New Brunswick, and we did it for 3 years, and by the end we would just pack the shows out, and we had a ton of my favorite bands come through my house at the drive-in. Hot Water Music, Benny, and some of the guys from Gaslight Anthem's old bands used to play, and Dillinger played in the basement. I mean, we had bands from Germany, we had bands from Canada. It was crazy. Q and Not You, and a lot of great bands.
Is there one that really like sticks out in your mind and it's just like, man, this one is my favorite show, or do all of them it's all a blend of like great memories?
Maybe my favorite show, this great New Jersey band called You and I, who were some of my roommates. They had their last show in my basement, and Seisha opened and Song Kerman, like a whole bunch of great, like kind of what people call like screamo now, but at the time nobody did. It was just a bunch of great bands, and You and I played for like like 2.5 hours. They played like everything they had ever written, and people would like get up and be like, "We flew here from France to see the last show. We wanted to tell you how much you mean to us." You know, like it was like all these stories that people would say between songs, and then they played their last few songs. They played Seascape, which was like my favorite You and I song, and like right in the middle of the breakdown, it was so hot in the basement, and there were like 280 people jammed in the basement that all the sweat had been like just like pouring off people, and the pipes were cold, so the pipes were like catching the water, and it started raining in the middle of their set in the basement, and that was like the best moment I think I've ever had.
I can't say I haven't experienced anywhere near close to that, and I'm so sad that I missed those opportunities back in the day. Unfortunately, I wasn't old enough for that. But we're going to have a couple more questions here. First one, what's the one basement band that you'd really like to see come back? And I mean, obviously, like, you know, Lifetime is like a big influence on you guys, but any others?
Yeah, it was a huge pleasure to see Lifetime like do the reunion. They played our Christmas show one of these years, and that was great to see them after all this time. If there was any other basement band that could come back, I mean, I'd love to see a You and I reunion, but you know, I don't think it could happen. I mean, if I could really pick anybody alive or dead, I'd probably pick Ink and Dagger. Like, they were one of my favorites. They were so good.
I just picked up their 7-inch last night, actually. Something about driving a stake through the
Yeah,
heart,
that's still my favorite collection of their songs. They're fantastic. Everything on that.
All right, very nice. Just two more questions for you. What New Jersey band should everybody be on the lookout for? And you can't say Gaslight Anthem.
Yeah, no, Gaslight Anthem. Everybody's already on the lookout for Gaslight Anthem. It doesn't matter if I shout them out or not. There's some good stuff. There's a band that we've been listening to lately that's like a little My Bloody Valentine-ish called Holler Wild Rose, and they're pretty cool. They're really dreamy, you know. We met them last night, and we've been, you know, checking their MySpace out for a while now. So I dig them.
All right, and then final question: what song do you have to listen to before you go out on stage?
That's a good question. It changes every tour, but there's this one song that gets me so psyched up. It's an Ennio Morricone song. He's a soundtrack writer, and he did the soundtrack for the Spanish Armada. Like, it's like 5-Man Army. It has a bunch of different titles, but it's an old kind of spaghetti western style movie, and it's like this weird Mexican march, and it just sounds so like old school, like you're marching in on your horse and you're ready to take over. Like, and whenever I hear it, it like gets me really pumped up.
Oh, well, that is absolutely incredible. I'd like to thank Geoff Rickly from Thursday once again for being on Breaking the Mold. I'm Christian, and I'm going to send it back to the studio, Mike.